Hey everybody, it's Matt with Mac's Video, and this will technically be my first video of after my little break I had for the Christmas holidays, and I feel like this is a good one to start off with. It's a movie review for Rogue One, a Star Wars story. I went and watched this last night with a group of friends, and I have to say, it was probably one of the most middle of the line Star Wars movies out there. It's not bad at all. It's good. It's not, I wouldn't say fantastic or anything, but it's a good movie. I enjoyed it. I look forward to watching it again when it comes out on Blu-ray. That being said, I probably won't go and see it again in theaters. Sorry, I'm trying to get my camera in a place where it's comfortable to hold, because I'm at my gym. So, because my Wi-Fi is weird at home. But anyway, this movie takes place right before Episode 4, A New Hope. When I say right before it, like at the end of this movie, if you go and take a bathroom break and maybe get a bite to eat, that's about the amount of time in between the end of this movie and New Hope. Like maybe an hour between the two. That being said, let's jump into this. Warning. There will be spoilers, and I will not, by any stretch of the imagination, be able to remember all the planet names and character names, so I'm going to make them up if I need to. Hopefully you get a chuckle. So here we go. It starts off with Jin. I believe that's her name. And she... Well, it didn't technically start. It starts off with her father. I believe his name was like Orso or something. That's their last name. But yeah, I'm just gonna call him Jin's father. So he is a engineer for the Empire, and he retired, I guess you could say, from them, and decided to take up a life of farming with his family. So, but they come back. General Tarkin, which, by the way, it's strange, but considering the actor that played General Tarkin is dead, they had to find a way to actually put him in this movie, because he is a character that has to be in here. They put him in the movie via CGI. It's well done. I didn't actually think about it until about halfway through the movie that this isn't actually him. It's great. There's a couple times where you can notice it, like his lip movement's a bit strange. But other than that, well done. It's fantastic how far we've come into it. But yeah, so they come, and one thing leads to another. Like I said, some spoilers, but I'm not going to spoil the whole movie for you. And, sorry, just trying to... There we go. That's how we're going to be. But, so, coming to that, and... So, one thing leads to another, and Jin is an orphan, essentially, and she is being raised by Saw, who is this Terminator, half-man, half-machine creature that he's on a ventilator, but he is an extremist rebel. Like, he was so extreme, he actually left the Rebel Alliance and became his own Rebel Alliance. He's that intense. He raised her, and then we cut to about, I don't know, 20 years in the future maybe, and she's an adult. She's in a prison. She then gets rescued by the Rebel Alliance, and they ask her to help them find her father, who is helping build the Death Star, because, as we know, let me cut away from the story here for a moment. This movie is all about finding the plans of the Death Star. If you remember in A New Hope, they got the plans of the Death Star, and they said that a lot of things had to go down for that to happen. This is the stuff that went down. So, anyway, so then you meet, I think his name is Cassian. You meet Cassian, and he is a pilot for the Rebel Alliance, and they go and try to find Saw, who can help them find Cassian. Not Cassian, help them find Jin's father. And they find him. The Death Star does what the Death Star does and destroys some stuff. Also, during this part, there is an octopus squid thing that can read your mind and tell if you're lying or not. And since this is an anime channel, technically, take what you will from it. It's a bit strange. So then, during this time, you also meet this guy that reminds me of the soldier guy from the Evolve game series. That's what he reminds me of. He's in this red armor, he carries a giant gun, and he destroys everything you can think of. Then you have this blind monk man that wields a staff crossbow thing, and he is essentially Aang with that staff from The Last Airbender. He just destroys everything in his path, and he's essentially a guardian of the Jedi temple that was on this planet. I think it's like Jeddah, I think was the name of the planet, or Jeddah, something. But, so, then they leave this planet, and find Jin's father, and it becomes very emotional at this point. And then we jump to the actual meat of the story, because this is a good movie. Awesome movie, in fact. But it's a bit backward from how The Force Awakens was. Because The Force Awakens, in my opinion, was great movie, mediocre climax. This movie was mediocre movie, amazing climax. Like, climax. I mean, like I said, if you watched A New Hope, you know what's going to happen. So I was interested to see how they're going to make the ending worth watching. And, well, let's get into it. First off, Darth Vader has a hilarious scene before this, where I think his name is Carrick or Kurtik or something. I'm going to call him Kakarot. Oh, Kakarot, he is the man in charge of building the Death Star. And he goes to Darth Vader, you know, whining about stuff. General Tarkin's being mean to me and whatnot. Well, Darth Vader chokes him, and then turns to him, like he has his back turned, choking him, and turns to him, I hope you don't choke on your ambitions. And I laughed. I laughed pretty hard. And then we get to the part where Jin, Cassian, and the cargo ship pilot that defected from the Empire and gave secrets to the Rebel Alliance. Him, K2, who was like C3PO that doesn't care. He's just like, whatever, bruh. And they all go and... Sorry, arm's getting tired. They go and steal a ship that they stole from the Empire already. They steal a ship that they stole. Double steal. And this is where the actual title kind of comes in, where the Rebel Alliance pilot control and air traffic control is like, who's this? What's your pilot tag and whatnot? And they're like, this is Rogue One. Title screen. And they're like, this sort of thing, and then they just take off anyway. It's like, I don't care about you. And they're going to go get the plans of the Death Star, because the Rebel Alliance is kind of wussed out and decided, well, they're so much more powerful than us. We can't beat them. We should just give up. Well, they're like, screw that. And they take off and go and try to get the Death Star plans. And they go to this planet that is completely encompassed in a shield. And they are able to sneak through the shield because this is an Imperial ship that they have. And they do have a cargo pilot for this cargo ship. So it works out pretty well, actually. And they get on there. Jin and Cassian go commando and, sneak their way into the archives. And then the most awesome battle scenes I've seen in a while in a Star Wars movie take place. Like, awesome battle scenes. And, like, they went back to that style from, like, Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, to where you follow one ship at a time. So it's not like chaos like in the prequels where they did those ship battle scenes. It's more, you feel like you're in the battle kind of style. So, while Jyn and Cassian and K2 are in, they're doing their own thing, you follow the rest of the rebels along with the blind monk man and soldier boy doing their stuff. And like I said, awesome battle scene. Then, the best scene in the movie, in my opinion, is Darth Vader showing up and doing his thing. And he walks in this hallway, and he goes ape on these people. Like, there's one part where he pulls out his, like, because it's in the dark, and then you see his lightsaber light up, and you see all these rebel fighters go, well, we're dead. That's what's going to happen. We're going to die. But, well, we got to get this out somehow. So, they fight him. They try anyway. He's deflecting all their blaster shots. He's force uppercutting people into the ceiling, cutting people in half, throwing people willy-nilly, ragdolls, and it's awesome. Like, it's been a while since I saw Darth Vader just go crazy on a man, and it was long overdue. So, loved it. So that happens, and then they get the plans after K2 does some, awesome stuff. He actually starts fighting, because at the beginning he's like, why don't I get a blaster? Well, they gave him a blaster, and he knows how to use it. So Jin's able to get up to the top and actually they push a ship into a ship. This is back up in space, by the way. They push a ship into a ship, a Star Destroyer into another Star Destroyer, who then crashes into the shield to break the shield so they can send the information out from the planet and to the Rebel base. So this happens, and yeah. And then the end of the movie. And then you have another instance of they using CGI to bring back Carrie Fisher, who we've recently lost, and rest in peace to her. But like I said, they don't have even if they had Carrie Fisher, this is supposed to be a young Leia, so they don't have a young Leia. So they CGI a young Leia. And again, it's very good. I honestly thought, wow, did they get an actress that just looks like a young Carrie Fisher? Like, that's awesome. I was like, oh, wait, they probably did CGI. And they did. And then and then she's like, oh, we have a new hope now. And then you're like, all right, end of the movie. Awesome. All in all, like I said, this is a very bare bones review. I don't want to spoil too much for you. I just want to give you a base storyline. Because this movie's all about why things happen and how it happens. Not so much what happens, but how it went down and why it went down. So I didn't give you those things, so that makes the movie worth the watch. Because like I said, we all knew if you are a fan of Star Wars and you actually watched A New Hope, you know what happens. You know what's going on. You know the end result. So it's not so much spoilers as an experience. And that's why this isn't a Star Wars movie like we're used to. They didn't even do a scroll at the beginning, because this is more of a prequel. This is more of a background thing to just let you know what's happening. So, all in all, great movie. I highly recommend you go to the theaters to watch it. It's a whole new experience that way. So yeah. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this movie. Give a like if you liked this review. Like I said, I know this probably isn't a review you're expecting. It's not a spoiler-free review. It's not a spoiler review. It's more of a my thoughts on it review. So, let me know if you like. If you do like my content, please hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that little bell beside that subscribe button so you are notified when I have new stuff coming out. And we will be back on schedule coming up in the new year. I know I took a little break, unscheduled break for the holidays, but it happens. So, I love all of you, and I'll see you in the next one.